Hello, everybody, and very good Wednesday to you, otherwise known as Christmas Eve Eve. I'm wearing this sweater, actually, this t shirt. I don't know if you can really see it. You can see that word. Um, and the other two words on it are Georgia Blue. And that's what I am here to talk about here for just a few minutes of your valuable time. Sweet Georgia Blue, Operation Georgia Blue. And that's what the mission is now. These next, really, 13 days. 13 more days, 12 complete days, full days until January the 5th. But I hope that if you are in Georgia, you have already voted. I really do, because this election, these two runoff elections, are the most important elections that you will vote in until the next ones. You did your job so well, Georgia, so very well during the 2020 general election. You came out and voted early, you voted strong, and you voted in large, large numbers to deliver for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party a victory in your state for the first time in nearly 30 years. Now you have a chance to do it again, one more time. One more time. And I hope that you do. So far, the numbers look very good for both John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock, but we cannot rest on our laurels in Georgia. That means the voters in Georgia can't rest, and everyone else outside the state of Georgia cannot rest and must do everything humanly possible to get these two men elected to the U.S. Senate on January the 5th. It's a huge election. These two runoff races are incredibly important, not just to the state of Georgia, but to the future of the country, certainly over the next 4 to 6 years. Joe Biden's presidency really hinges, quite frankly, on the success of these two men. I mean, there's a lot on your shoulders, Georgia, that you have to carry here. You've done it once, and many of us around this country are asking you to do it all over again. So I really need you, if you haven't yet done so in Georgia, to go and vote. You can vote by mail, you can vote in person. Both of those are early votes. So if you prefer to vote by mail with this pandemic that is continuing to get out of hand in very dangerous ways, then certainly vote by mail. Drop off your ballot, please. If you filled it out, do not wait. If you're someone who likes to go out and get out and about, even in a pandemic, well, you know what you have to do. You have to vote in person. This is something that is so very important. And cast your vote right now, Georgia, because we need you. We in the rest of the country need you. Quite frankly, Joe Biden needs you too, because without you voting in massive numbers, as you did for him, in terms of voting for both John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock, it's going to be a very difficult 4 years. And what you're going to have is the continuous obstruction of Mitch McConnell and his Senate Republican cronies or shills or whatever you want to call them, who are going to make life very difficult for the entire country, because none of the things that you need to have passed will ever get passed, because the Republicans will block it and obstruct it. There are so many bills that the House Democrats have passed over these last 2 years that have never really at all seen the light of day in the Senate. In fact, they never have seen the light of day, because you've got Mitch McConnell as the majority leader of the Senate blocking everything, letting bills stay on his desk, pile up on his desk, gathering dust, the Grim Reaper. You have a chance to get Mitch McConnell out of that majority leader's seat as well. That is so important. That's what's at stake here. And if you can do what I'm hoping you will do, what I think you will do, which is to vote in John Ossoff and vote in Reverend Raphael Warnock, then you won't have to worry about Mitch McConnell as the Senate majority leader anymore. He will be just another member of the Senate. So it is imperative, all of you in Georgia who can hear my voice or who can see me or both, to please get out and vote. Please do not waste a moment on this. Do it now. Do not delay. This is so important, this election. John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock are two people who are going to fight for you, the everyday person, once they get to Washington, D.C. and Capitol Hill. They are not going to be counting their money like Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue will be. That's what they do. They have fleeced the American public, they've fleeced the state of Georgia, they've made money off the backs of people just like you. Why vote for them? There's no reason to. All they care about are their stock, profits, and their rich donors. Although Kelly Loeffler really doesn't need any help. She has her own money that she's throwing into this race. And David Perdue himself, too, is wealthy. So, I mean, that spells it out. They're thinking more about the people who donate to their campaign than they are thinking about you. They're thinking more about these billionaire corporations and these lobbyists and all these other people who are donating to them who are of very wealthy means. And they're not thinking about the average person. That's the fact. So please, everybody in Georgia, this is so important. I wouldn't do videos like this if it wasn't important to. For those of you who aren't in Georgia, make sure you phone bank for John Ossoff after Christmas is over with, which will be in the next little while, not too long from now. Make sure that you make sure you spend this weekend on the phones. Tomorrow, whatever the day is that you do this, make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. Obviously not Christmas Day, but make sure that you get on the phones, do some phone banking for an hour, just an hour even, you know, an hour, half an hour, 2 hours, whatever you can spare. Um, it's been a tough year for everybody. It's been a tough year for you, for me, for all of us. And we continue to endure and experience some very difficult things. And we're seeing that, in this country, almost 325,000 people who live in this country are no longer here. They've they've all died from coronavirus. It's really horrible. Mental health wise, that's a lot to deal with. And I guarantee you, if you vote for John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock, you're going to be seeing voting in two people who care about the everyday person, care about people afflicted with this virus. Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue made money off this virus while people were dying. They sold stock after getting confidential briefings in the Senate about this virus, and they sold stock based on information that was private from those confidential meetings. Obviously, those are private briefings. The information dispensed is private. So, while people were dying of coronavirus, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler were selling stock and making tons of money, millions of dollars. That's not the kind of leadership you need in Georgia. And it's definitely not the kind of leadership that the country needs, certainly not in DC or anywhere else. You just voted out one scarecrow who has destroyed much of the country, especially the governmental apparatus. You don't want to decide to vote in two more clowns like that. You don't want to do that. And I think America has had enough of the thievery and the lies and the profiteering off the backs of everyday people. So, Georgia, please, if you haven't voted, make sure you vote. Thank you very much for listening, and be well. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Eid. And to all of you, whether you celebrate any of these events and holidays or not, be well and take care.